Alright, what up, what up? Let's get into it. So, today's lesson will be about the power of peace. Alright, let's write it down. The power of peace. Alright. Now, most people might look at it like being peaceful is being weak. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they're looking at it like from the society that we live in, which tells you that war is better than peace. Fighting is better than peace, right? Well, we only fight wars to gain peace. You know what I'm saying? Gain peace of what? Peace of whatever we want. When we get what we want, then we have peace. That's what the whole war is about. So, gaining resources, assets, things of that nature. Power. It's all about power. We gain the war to get the power, and it's peace in the power. So, either way it goes, it all leads back to this. This is what it leads back to, peace. So, when somebody comes for your peace, there's ways of going about this. But you can't always run from your problem. So, let's go ahead and get started. So, we're going to jump it off like this. And I know that not everybody likes to tap in with the Bible, but I want to be able to break some of these things down that come from the Bible so it can possibly not steer you away from all aspects of the Bible. You can actually tap in with what everybody seems to resonate with that comes from the Bible. You don't got to resonate with everything from the Bible, but if everybody seems to resonate with it, it must be some truth to it, right? So, check this out. Psalms 46:10. Psalms 46:10 is very important. It says, "Be still and know that I am God. I am God." Be still and know that I am God. That's one thing that comes out the Bible. And we've also heard this one. Peace. Be still. So if you want peace, just be still. That's what that means. If you want peace, just be still. Alright? So, what does this mean? So, be still and know that I am God. That means be still and trust God. Basically saying trust in life, trust God, trust the process, trust understanding, right? So look, it's a duality. When you say trust God, trusting in life, trusting in your understanding. So when you trust in your understanding, that means you are having faith. Alright? So check it. First you gotta understand, so I'll tell you this all the time. It's a duality. Understanding versus confusion. And we know confusion is of the devil. That is the adversary of God, the devil. So we want to make sure we have understanding. When you follow your understanding, you are walking in faith. See that? Now you are walking in faith. You got faith in your understanding, so you move from your understanding. You are trusting in God. You are trusting in God's truth at this point. Anytime you feel confused, see, you don't want to operate from confusion, because if you moving from confusion and you're not asking yourself if you're truly confused, then this is what you operate from. Your ego. You allowing your ego to override your truth, and tell you that you should keep moving even though you're confused. And that's not the right thing to do. You should never operate from confusion, ever. You know what I'm saying? So don't let your ego tell you something that you should be doing. Your ego is only supposed to be based off of spirit, God, truth. So, your spirit guided by God, because God is the truth. Alright? Moving on. I'm going to try to make it as quick as possible. You know? I know we got some short attention spans out there, but you can always rewind. So, Now, let's go ahead and get into the duality of peace and why it's so powerful. The duality of peace. Right? So, we gotta know. Hopefully y'all can see it. Let me make sure y'all can see that. Alright, so the duality of peace. You need to know that peace operates at a frequency of 600 hertz. Now, a lot of people don't know what a hertz frequency is. A hertz frequency is a resonant frequency. That means that it is something that you resonate with. That means that peace as an emotion, when you feel at peace, you feel, which means resonate. This is the frequency tied to that. Emotions are vibrations. Emotions are tied to frequencies. So the frequency of that emotion is 600 hertz. Alright? So, the duality of peace. One form of peace, we have stillness, meditation, and prayer. That's one half of peace of what peace could be. That's one duality of peace right there. Stillness, meditation, and prayer. Stillness, that's just sometimes you gotta just take a moment, take a deep breath, and just be still. Peace, be still. You know what I'm saying? Because you're confused right now. Let me just be still. So, all these negative emotions I'm going through, I can just take a deep breath and overcome that and get back to a peaceful state. Because that's where your healing at. You know what I'm saying? Stress causes disease. You know what I'm saying? Things of that nature. We don't want to be stressed out all the time. It causes cloudiness as well. So, sometimes you just gotta be still and get back to your peace. You know what I'm saying? Meditation allows you to get back to your peace and your clarity as well. So when the longer you're able to meditate, the more power you have over your external environment is that you can see clearly, have more clarity. So prayer, at the same time, if you know how to pray correctly, you can pray and ask God for that you wish to receive, knowing that God will provide because God is the truth. That's how you pray. So that's one form of peace right there. Now, I'm gonna put verses. Anytime we talk about duality, we put the word verses, because is this versus that. But that don't mean that either one is good or bad. That just means that you operate from this one or that one. You know what I'm saying? So, but never both. You get what I'm saying? So, the other form of peace would be structure, aligned actions, and flow. So, I'm going to break that down. So, see, structure, once you get the structure going of something, then you can align actions with that structure. You stay in alignment with the structure, okay, you write the plan, make it plain, then you align your action. You stay in alignment with exactly what you got to do from a point of truth on how to get the structure. You already wrote out plans, you already did all the research, you already know exactly how the structure needs to be. You stay in alignment with that structure, those are aligned actions, and then you get in the flow state and get that going. And your flow, once you stay in the flow, it leads to momentum. Once you get the momentum going, that's the ball. Now the ball is rolling. It's downhill from there, it's smooth sailing from there. So structure, aligned actions, flow. Staying in alignment with the structure leads to the proper flow, and you get into the momentum where everything just starts to work out on its own. You know what I'm saying? Then we like to say practice makes perfect. Over time you get better and better. That's that momentum, the flow state. Now, when you are in the flow state, you want to make sure, this is the duality of peace, but we also want to make sure we know how to stay in that power, right? We want to stay in that power of peace when we in this side or that side. So, what you want to do is you want to avoid distractions. When you're in the flow state, you want to honor the flow state, whether you in stillness, meditation, or prayer, you don't want to be distracted. So, you want to avoid distractions. Avoid distractions when you are in your flow state of stillness, meditation, prayer, or structure your aligned actions. avoid distractions, right? So, if confusion, this is the next thing. When you are in your flow state, if confusion arises and you become confused about something, right? What do we do with confusion? We find understanding. So anytime we're in the flow state and we hit a wall, right? We hit a wall like, hold on, I'm confused right now. Even though I'm in the flow state, I've reached the point of confusion where I don't understand the structure on how to move forward, right? So what we want to do, we're going to pause, go back to our stillness, we want to pause, we want to ask the right questions to get to the right answer. So how do we ask the right questions to get to the right answer? So research other people's experience, or sometimes we just got to take the experience one step at a time with patience. See, now patience, this is all a part of your peace state as well, because peace is about being calm. And when you are calm, you are patient. Alright? So, that's how you avoid the confusion once you're in the flow state. You get back into your stillness, and then you be patient. If you have to go through the experience on your own and you can't find any research or other people's experience to back how you should move forward. You get what I'm saying? So, where we at now? Alright, so boom. Once you figure out what to do next, you want to restructure. Once you reach confusion, now you want to restructure. You're like, okay, I know what to do next, so I'm going to restructure my actions. I'm doing a little. You might be probably doing everything the same except, but you want to restructure some things, get back into that aligned action, and get back in that flow state, avoiding distractions, avoiding all confusion. You know what I'm saying? Because anytime I get confused about it, I'm going to go find some more understanding in my stillness. You know what I'm saying? So now you got your understanding, you get back into your restructure. You know what I'm saying? The restructure is going to keep the ball rolling from there. And this is the cycle. This is the cycle of peace. All right? So, now, okay, I already told you what makes peace one of the most powerful frequencies, right? So, you need to know this. When you are in your peace state, peace overrides all lower frequencies. Any lower frequencies that try to tap in with your peace, this is what I want you to do. When somebody coming for your peace, this is what you do. You detach, set boundaries, and move in silence. See, you detach because obviously you set a boundary, and because they don't want to honor your boundary, you have to detach at that point, alright? So, you want to move in silence because if somebody coming at you a certain type of way, right? Let's say they come at you and they in fear or anger, shame, guilt. They trying to make you feel lower than your peace state. You know what I'm saying? On the audience, let me get it. Let me get the chart right quick. So, all of these other emotions, like anger, that's 150. Alright, look, so anger, right? Anger. That's 150 hertz. Now, the only way somebody can make you mad is if they bring you down to that level. Well, because you know you don't want to go down to that level, you want to set boundaries. Like, look, I'm not on that. From a state of calm authority, being calm, being patient from a place of authority. Now, if they overstep your boundaries, you can detach and just move in silence. You already stated your piece. I've stated my piece. Time to move around. You know what I'm saying? Detachment. Now I get back to doing my own thing on my own. You know what I'm saying? Now you give them a chance to rise to your frequency or not. They don't want to rise up with you. And guess what? They can keep moving in anger. Because the only thing we do with anger is set boundaries and burn bridges. You know what I'm saying? That means that I'm detaching. When I say burn bridges, I'm distancing myself. Now, they can dwell in their negativity because this is negative compared to this. Lower, if it's anything lower than where I'm at, then it's negative to what I got going on. So they can dwell in that negativity by themselves. You know what I'm saying? And eventually, they can rise up and realize that you was right. Now, if you operate from a peace state and you know you're not right, you're confused about whether you're right or not, then you operate from your ego. So therefore, you are not in your peace. You are actually, if you saying you're in your peace, but you're confused about some things, then where you actually operating from is your pride. That's your pride, your ego. Which, your pride is 175 hertz. So you just right above anger at this point. You are just right above anger. You right down there with them. So you might still, you can go to touch if need be, but once you realize what the truth is, now you can set the boundary on what the truth is. Now they can either meet you in unity. So look, peace has to do with unity as well, right? Because it's right between love and enlightenment. And love is unity. Enlightenment is unity. So because peace as a frequency is right between those, that means you can communicate with them your boundary, and then y'all can either match each other's energy in peace, or y'all can attach outside with no confusion at all. So now you overcame your pride and your ego to get back to your peace. From your point of confusion, now you found understanding. They can meet you at your understanding, or they can stay in that pride, ego, and anger and all that. You know what I'm saying? But you got to detach from all that because you can't live there with them. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes time heals our wounds. So you can let them go do that shadow work and go do what they need to do. They probably most likely need some isolation time, because if they don't isolate, then what's going to happen is they think that they shit don't stink. They just think that they can be operating like that. And guess what? It's going to lead to more negativity and more negativity. And if they don't never get to the point where they're ready to communicate or try to get to the next level with unity, then that means they still have a sense of pride. They still have a sense of ego. So dealing with you will bring out their ego. Then maybe I should just stay separated. Straight like that. If they can operate from that peace without you, then y'all need to stay separated. But if that ego kick in every time they think about unifying with you, then y'all gotta stay separated. Who and whoever else. That's in relationships or friendships, business, whatever the case may be. So, next. Alright, so we talked about detachment, we talked about using silence, right? So let's talk about this silence for a minute. No matter what frequency you at, right? No matter what emotion you in, silence is powerful. If you are in a state that you like being in, silence protects. We like to call silence a frequency guard. You are guarding you are protecting your peace at this point by being silent, like I said, you know what I'm saying? So silence protects you from ever having to lower yourself, you know, because what you don't, okay, so let's go back to anger, right? Somebody saying something, my bad, some anger. So somebody's saying some things to make you mad, right? And you know they're trying to make you mad. So you set the boundary, don't come at me like that, they keep coming at you like that, you detach. Or now you just be silent, because what you don't want to do is feed into their anger. You don't want to feed into it, because as soon as you feed into it, you are now operating from the same. Now you're going back and forth with them, you operate from the same frequency that they on. Now both of y'all on that same frequency going back and forth, you know what I'm saying? Because you decided that you decided to feed. What you did was, you fed it. You fed the anger, so now you're going back and forth. Now you're on that frequency with them. When you could have just protected your peace with silence. See what I'm saying? See how they work? That's how they work. So next. Alright. Let's talk about peace as a masculine energy. Why peace is a masculine energy, alright? Now I'm not saying that women don't have peace too, but when we're looking at peace from a point of emotions, women tend to be far more sensitive and emotional than men. That's just natural. When you see a woman that's unable to operate from her emotions and be sensitive and be open, that just means that she's protecting her peace. You get what I'm saying? So she operates from her masculine energy so she can protect herself, because she obviously wasn't protected. You know what I'm saying? So she done been in situations where her emotions weren't protected, so now she has to protect herself by operating out of her masculine energy. And we're not gonna shame her for that, you know what I'm saying? But that's just what led up to that. And once we know that about her, that she has to operate from her masculine energy, and we know why, because somebody obviously didn't protect her emotions as a child, as an adult, relationships, whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? We gotta have love for her still. And see, love, this ain't even a part of this, but just know that love, it's compassion. We have compassion for her. love is a frequency of 500. We have compassion for her, because she has to protect her peace, and she can't operate from her sensitivity because somebody protects her in the past. So now, even in the future, let's just say a woman get into a relationship, right? And she operates from her masculine energy. That's just let it be known that past dynamics have already entrained her that she has to operate from her peace state and detachment from her emotions because somebody did her wrong in the past. So if you're in a relationship with a woman like that, she needs to be able to trust you at all costs, because if she ain't unable to trust you, you're going to trigger past emotions. So now she's going to have to, she will detach from you, bro. She will detach from you because you wasn't able to maintain your peace and let her know that she can be emotional and be sensitive without you attacking her. You know what I'm saying? You protected your peace by staying in your peace and being consistent in your peace. You allow her to know that she can be emotional, that she can be sensitive. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying this from past experience. I've been through some things. I actually missed the woman I was with because I didn't understand this at the time. But if I knew this at the time, the relationship might have went way better. You know what I'm saying? And not saying that I wasn't a man, not saying that I'm not masculine as a man. I just had no awareness. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't operating in my power. Because I wasn't operating in my power, and I didn't know no better, that caused her to have to step up into her masculine energy. And now, when she stepped up into her masculine energy, humans, we mirror each other. So now, I done mirror her, and I tried to get emotional with her, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't maintain my peace and power, my detachment frequency, so she could mirror me. So I'm not leading no more, you know what I'm saying? Which is like how sometimes we want equality, but equality is not actually the way, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to relationships, it's about leading the way as a man, you know what I'm saying? Because if you don't lead the way, now she mirroring you, and now you gotta reflect that back, and you operate from your feelings, you know what I'm saying? So now she gonna detach from you, and you all in your feelings about it. Now next thing you know, you feeling low worth as a man, you know what I'm saying? Now she gonna mirror you in your low worth, y'all both about to break up. That's how they go. So moving forward, peace is masculine. I just had to throw that in there. That's a real dynamic that happens in a lot of relationships. Peace is masculinity, right? It's a masculine energy, and this is an energy trait. Remember, emotions are energy and motion, so it's an energy trait. That's not saying that women can't have it too, but it's just men are supposed to have this trait naturally, all right? But because of all the foods we eat, all the inputs that we put into our body, or the traumatic experiences, the past dynamics of our own reality, it causes us to be entrained to not operate from these states. Because we was never taught how to be like this, or we are not strong enough to uphold that power. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like, we lose frequency at times, we lose energy at times. You know what I'm saying? Once you lose energy, you lose frequency as well. We're not, you know what I'm saying, not eating right, not living right, just not understanding a lot of things. Going through negative stuff alone lowers your frequency. You know what I'm saying? A lot of stress causes estrogen buildup, which causes you to lower your frequency as a man. All right, so peace equals calm. You know what I'm saying? Shame, which is one of your lowest frequencies, is low worth, all right? I just want y'all to know this. So shame is one of your lowest frequencies. When you get the shame about how you living, how you doing the things you're doing, that's low worth. Low worth leads to negative detachment. That means you either finna detach from yourself and become a better version of yourself, or you might get suicidal, you know what I'm saying, because you don't appreciate yourself, and you need to actually you need to actually be by yourself. But if you're feeling suicidal and things of that nature, you need to go speak to somebody that can lift you up. You know what I'm saying? Go to church, find some stillness, find some prayer, find some meditation, find people that can give you a truth of the whole scenario, whatever you got going in your life, so they can help get you back to a point of enlightenment and peace as a man or woman. You know what I'm saying? But we don't want to operate in shame because it leads to negative things when you dwelling in that emotion. So you don't want to do that. And if you catch anybody that's dwelling in that type of emotion or anything in their life, you actually want to reach out to them and give them some truths, you know what I'm saying, so you can help them get to the next level, because we don't want anybody ever committing suicide accidentally or purposely, you know what I'm saying? We want people to consistently care about it, or care about themselves. You know what I'm saying? We want them to care about themselves, and if you care about them, you'll show up for them. If you have compassion, love for them, all right? So, Alright, so peace, calm. Peace also represents being a high value man. You have high value, right? That's why I wanted to talk about low work. Because when you operate in your peace, you are showing that you have high value. You know what I'm saying? You have high self-esteem at this point. You have high self-esteem. And that's why it is power. This is why in relationships basically in relationship society, men want to always be operating from their power because we lead the way with clarity. You know what I'm saying? Operate from your highest frequency means that you have clarity. Operate from your lowest frequency, that means you have cloudiness in your mind. You know what I'm saying? So it's no need, just know when you operate from calm, that means you are being patient. There's no need to rush. You know what I'm saying? You trust in God, you trust in the process, you trust in life. You know what I'm saying? From a point of understanding and truth. Alright? And what is truth? Truth is the light. That's enlightenment. That's a higher frequency than peace, actually. Enlightenment is a 700 frequency. So, men are the leaders of the home, and they bring the structure, so they have to operate from power. They have to operate from power. They have to operate from the power of enlightenment, of peace, of love, of joy. Joy is having gratitude. Being having gratitude for your life, the people around you. You know what I'm saying? Not always blaming them and shit like this. See, when you're playing blame games, you are operating from guilt. That means that you actually feel guilty about something that you did, but you want to point the finger at everybody else. You know what I'm saying? You go look at what you did, where you played a part in that. You know what I'm saying? So, if you don't feel, just know, before you blame somebody, go see how you can figure it out because you don't want to lead the way with it. That's why this is a masculine energy trait. Alright? So, that's why, like I just told you, in my past dynamic relationship, that was all my fault. It wasn't her fault, it was my fault because I'm supposed to be guiding her. You know what I'm saying? So, alright, so this is the power of peace. Alright, so moving forward. We talked about enlightenment. So look, enlightenment. This is another masculine energy trait. But it also has to do with your peace. Because it's 700 hertz. Enlightenment, 700 hertz. Alright? So, enlightenment equals truth and facts. And facts and logic is masculine energy. Know that. Facts and logic is masculine energy. Opinions and emotions is feminine energy. These are facts. Know that. So, enlightenment also means you have a heightened sense of awareness. Now, why should you have a heightened sense of awareness, right? It's mandatory. As a provider, as a protector of your family, your environment, you have to have a heightened sense of awareness. You have to be a protector. That's the only way you can be a protector. If you have your truth in order, your facts in line, you have a heightened sense of awareness on how to move forward with understanding of God's truth. Because God gonna lead you. That's the Almighty. The Almighty powerful leads you, and you operate from that power of His truth, of God's truth. If you ain't asking Him, you ain't asking nobody. Know that. You know what I'm saying? Because God is the truth. So, this is the power of peace. This is the power of enlightenment. I'll show you.